a lot of new faces coming into the mix here for the Boston Bruins, and let's just go over them all real quick. They bring in Michael Eamont, who split last year with Tampa and Seattle. He is a bottom six pest. If you watched Tuesday's game against New York, you saw he had a great third period. He had 2 goals and an assist. Actually drew the penalty. They got them on the power play late in the game and into overtime. This is a player that Bruins fans, you're going to like him. You are going to like him a lot. Now, he's not going to score 3 points a night like you saw on Tuesday, but this is a guy that brings it every single night. If you remember the name, you might remember him from he had an incident with Linus Ullmark where he elbowed Ullmark in the head, and then Ullmark slashed him, and Ullmark got fined for it. It was a couple of years ago. It was when he was in Tampa.
Rings a bell.
He and I mean this in the most endearing way possible. He is a greasy player. You're gonna like him. I'm telling you, you're gonna like him.
Is he one of these guys that if he wasn't on your team, you'd hate his guts, but if he's on your team, you love him?
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you, I hated him on Tampa. Because, Tampa has all the talent, right? And then they got that guy coming over when the talent's on the bench. You're like, oh, I hate this team. It's like Florida. It's the same kind of deal, you know? You love the way they build the team, but you hate to play it. You hate to go against it, right?
Yeah, and if they're not playing your team, they're a great watch. But, yeah, if they are, you hate them.
So they also bring back Sean Corrali. We all know Sean Corrali. Sean Corrali is going to be your fourth-line center. I feel very certain about that. And really what's interesting about Sean Corrali is that you bring him back, he's a lefty, he's still got good wheels, and he's still great on faceoffs. That spells trouble for Johnny Beecher. Johnny Beecher, 2019 first-round draft pick, has been skating with players that we're going to see in Providence, basically, the last few days of training camp here. He had an egregious turnover right inside his own blue line on Tuesday night that ended up in the back of the net. Didn't have a good year a year ago. He had 1 goal in his final 72 games or whatever it was. And I know he's not here to score goals, but he also took a lot of penalties towards the end of the year. You can't be a PK specialist if you're in the box. Just kind of how it is. And I think Johnny Beecher might not make this team. But Sean Corrali being here, I think is again, that's a character veteran guy. You want to bring that guy back in. You know, he's going to compete. And so I think, you're reconfiguring your fourth line with those 2 players. The big one by their standards here, Tanner Jano, 5-year deal. He has a full no move the first couple of years of the deal. Now, people may have seen it. On July 1, when they signed him, I did not have a pleasant reaction. Let me make this clear. It's not because I don't like Tanner Jano. I love players like Tanner Jano. I don't love giving them 5-year deals when they're coming off a season-ending groin injury and their game has trended downward in 3 straight seasons. That's what I don't like about it. You got into a bidding war for a player that you probably, in your current situation, should not get in a bidding war for this guy. It's just you're not that kind of team right now. And I like to think that you can find hammers and nail guns for a little bit cheaper, both in dollars and in years. Now, with that all said, I will tell you about Tanner Jano, talking to people that have played with him, guys that have had him. He's a great character guy. He's a workout fiend, and maybe they need some of that, right, in their locker room. It's just 5 years of it. You're kind of hoping that he can return to what he was in Nashville when he had 22 goals and 45 points and was looking like the next budding power forward. It's just the game is going in the wrong direction, right? And it has for a couple of years now. So you hope you can revitalize that. It's just a really tough ask right now because I don't think you want to put him in your top 6, right? Because you don't want to put Trent Frederick in your top 6, and they're kind of comparable players, in my opinion. So what you get there is going to be interesting. I think Jano's ideal spot is probably third line protecting 2 younger players, right? Your Matty Patras, your Fraser Mintons, your Matej Blumel, and that's another guy we're going to talk about here in a second. Those guys, maybe they feel a little bit bigger, right? Playing with a guy like Jano who, if you touch Matt Patra, he's going to come calling and he's going to start just dropping the gloves right away. Maybe that's how you feel about that signing and that's why you bring him in. But that's the one I'm a little like, oh man, is this going to be ugly by year 3? You hope not, right? Because these little things add up, right? It's not a big payday, right? It's $3.8 million, not the end of the world. They add up after a while, right? And if $3.8 million is preventing you from signing a Jack Eichel or a Connor McDavid or whoever other star player hits the open market next year and wants to test free agency, that's when it hurts you, right? These little signings can add up and hurt you over time. Matej Blumel, real quick. A left winger, led the AHL in goals a year ago, had 38. plays left and right wing, he actually kind of prefers being on the right sometimes, depending on the situation, because it opens up his one-timer. I talked with him over the summer. He's very big into analytics regarding his shot, regarding the shot placement, the angle, all of that. So he's part of that new age of athlete that is really delving into the science of their shot. You watch him on Tuesday. You watch him on the power play. This is indicative of the roster, Ryan, but I would say I feel comfortable right now saying that he has the fourth best shot on this team. Pastrnak, Geeky, Zacha, Blumel.
I hear that, and it's one of those, like, I don't know if I should feel like, oh, okay, that's something to build on. Kid could be talented. I mean, 25, but the kid could be talented, or, oh my God, your shots are so top heavy that by default, Blumel is going to be your fourth best shot. Like it's kind of like a mixed bag when you say something like that.
And I talked to Pastrnak about both check,
yes.
So I talked to Pastrnak about him during captain's practices, and Pastrnak said like he was a good player for the Czech Republic at the Worlds a couple of years ago. Actually played with David Krejci on a line at the Worlds back in 2022. So he's got talent, right? And he's coming here after being in the Dallas system, and he's coming here because he couldn't get a shot in Dallas because Dallas is so freaking good. Like, where is he going to play? He's not a fourth liner. You don't want to put him there, but you want to give him minutes, right? But you can't do that in Dallas because they're so good. So he's coming here. I think he's a lock for the roster. I really do. I think they're going to give because he chose to come here over Pittsburgh. He had offers from Boston and Pittsburgh. He chose to come here, and Pastrnak played a factor in him coming here. Pastrnak called him and said, "Hey, you should come here. Like, I'd love it if you came here." You can't waive that guy. If your $11 million superstar is the one saying, "Hey, I want this guy here," you can't waive him out of training.
There's a lot. I mean, that being said, there's a lot of reasons why you kind of hope it works out for Blumel too. I think it's interesting that he also opted. I think if you look at Boston and you're looking at Pittsburgh, it's also with him, as you said, there was not a lot of opportunity to showcase his abilities in the Dallas system. You got to look at it and go, do I have a better opportunity to have playing time in Boston, or do I have a better opportunity to get playing time in Pittsburgh, where Boston is sort of like in this like transition kind of, we're not going to say it's a flat out bottom five team as we said in the first segment, but also like they have some steps to take, but I think it's interesting that Pasta's playing the recruiting guy now, is sort of being like the last guy of that previous Bruins era. He's got to kind of, put on his recruitment hat and find talent to put around the team.
They got to do that now next summer with Charlie McAvoy and Jack Eichel. That's what Charlie Mac's gonna be like. Hey man,
make some phone calls,
please, we're begging you. You'll be close. You'll be close to home. The other guy too is Victor Arvidsson. Victor Arvidsson. The Bruins have already said that they're gonna put him in a top 6 role out of the gate. He's coming off a 15-goal, 27-point season in Edmonton a year ago. Really good net front guy. You watch him at practice. You watch him in training camp. This guy is a puck tipping machine, right? And so he's being reunited here with Marco Sturm. They were together in L.A. Arvidsson had his best season on the power play in L.A. a couple of years back, the 22-23 season. I think he had 23 points on the power play. The Bruins are really hoping that he can help revitalize their power play, which is an important thing they lost, right? They lost that when they lost DeBrusk. DeBrusk was really good at extending plays, keeping plays alive, winning one-on-one battles behind the net on the power play, dishing out to the flanks, and now you're resetting here and you're getting more chances. You're really hoping that Arvidsson can bring some of that, as well as a net front tipping and finishing. If he can get to that dirty area, the good ice, as I like to call it, he's going to have an uptick there in production. But again, a lot hitching on that. So we asked the question in the first segment here, where are they getting the goals from, right? This is the grouping. Blumel, Arvidsson. You're hoping maybe a younger player can pop. I mentioned Matt Poitras. I mentioned Fraser Minton. That feels like a non-negotiable. They need a younger player up front to emerge and score some goals for this team. That's got to happen. Whether it's third line, second line, I don't care where it is. It's got to happen, because if this team can score, let's say 50 more goals, right? They're probably contending for a playoff spot. The teams that finished in the top half of the league in scoring a year ago, all but 2 of them made the playoffs. One of those 2 was in it until game 82. if you score more, if you're in the top half, you will be in the mix. So the Bruins got to get 50 more goals out of this roster than they got a year ago.
That would have taken that. So they scored 222 goals last year. That would bump them from 27th in the league up to 7th. You'd be right there with Toronto and Colorado.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're a completely different hockey team.
So maybe 40. Maybe 40 is a more fair, expectation there. If they get that though, they will be in the mix. They will be in the hunt. They will it's just that was the big thing last year. They had, I think, 43 games a year ago, I want to say, where they maxed out at 2 goals or fewer. Like, you're not going to win. You're not going to win many games in the NHL in 2025 when you have offensive production like that. It's just not good enough. And so that's gotta improve, but those are the guys. Blumel and Arvidsson. Those are the two that you're looking at out of the gate. And you mentioned Lindholm. You mentioned off the air Zacha as well. If those guys can score a little bit more than they did a year ago, you're feeling a little bit better. You don't feel perfect, but you're feeling a little bit better.